To JoyNews Today, we're broadcasting live from our studios in Kokomlemle. The news is live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. We're on DTT because we're free to air. Also on social media as JoyNews on TV. Coming up, one more pupil reported dead in the Nenchia accident that occurred on the Nkoko-Kumasi Highway, bringing the death toll to 5 in the ghastly accident. The Tertiary Education Workers Union of Ghana suspends its 2-week-long strike over the government's failure to pay vehicle maintenance allowances to its deserving members.
Passed a resolution that the strike should be suspended. And it is our hope that at the end of the day, government will give us a listening ear for us to get this issue resolved.
Also ahead in this bulletin, Parliament makes history, and for the first time in the Fourth Republic, a person other than the Speaker or his deputies is presiding over the House.
As many as are in favor say aye. As many as are against say no.
All this plus business, sports, world news and showbiz in the next hour. My name is Kenneth Jesse. Don't go anywhere. In other stories this afternoon, the Tertiary Education Workers Union of Ghana, TEG, has suspended its 2-week-long strike over the government's failure to pay vehicle maintenance allowances to its deserving members. TEG on Monday, February 12, urged its members to continue the industrial strike, which commenced on February 1st, despite meeting with the government on Friday, February 9. Let's read excerpts of that statement. And it says, the Tertiary Education Workers Union of Ghana of the public universities in Ghana declared an indefinite strike on February 1st. Leadership subsequently directed all members to continue the strike on the 12th of February to press home their demands. It says after a series of discussions with the National Labour Commission and the government, the NLC directed the union to suspend the strike action to make room for subsequent engagement with the government to resolve the vehicle maintenance allowance issue for their members. And it continues by saying that as we all are aware, the government has denied some of our members the vehicle maintenance allowance payment, which is seen as a discrimination, and this compelled the union to embark on an indefinite strike. These are excerpts of the statement released by TEG. Meanwhile, the national chairman of the association, Suleimana Abdulrahman, says the decision to suspend the strike comes after a meeting with the National Labour Commission and representatives of government on Wednesday, the 14th of February. He spoke to me earlier on JoyNews Desk.
We were invited by National Labour Commission on the 14th February 2024, and we had a series of discussions in the meeting, and finally the NLC directed that we should suspend the strike and then ask you rightly read so that we make room for engagement with government.
Right.
And as a law-abiding union, we had a next meeting yesterday, and we passed a resolution that the strike should be suspended. And it is our hope that at the end of the day, government will give us a listening ear for us to get this issue resolved. So we had agreed to, engage with government in about a week or two time. So very, very soon we'll be engaging with government to have this issue being resolved. And it is our hope that when we start engaging with government, NLC will put its feet down to make sure that they direct government to do the right thing.
We head to the Ashanti region now, where some residents and traders occupying land close to government's Agenda 11 project at Sawaba, a suburb of the Asokore-Mampo municipality in the region, are resisting an eviction attempt they describe as deceptive and unlawful. They are outraged by moves of a private developer to demolish their homes if they fail to voluntarily vacate. The concerned inhabitants have indicated their readiness to fight any forceful eviction. There's more in the following report.
Hundreds of residents and traders occupying the land have been asked to leave. Those affected claim there were no prior notice for their eviction. Their major worry is the court vacates the space under the pretext of using the land for a government project, yet an individual developer is rather taking over. They are seeking the intervention of the Asantehene and President Akufo-Addo to avert any clash in their eviction.
Sisa mobile tieno. Nansa nyina me masisa me nema kwa kugu. Abontina. Na me yimi baba akwa mawe, yimi baba akwa mawe. Sisia mumutumi no. Me ekunani. Efa.
Where do I go if we are evacuated? I am a widow, so where will I keep my children? My children are also students, and we need money to survive. We plead with President Akufo-Addo to have mercy on us.
Inte me pacho nana Akufo-Addo wa hu ya mbabo
atimamufo ba no ma bi we koso a na ese ya ni animu no ye de enka ho na de ompe bia o mo de ya ye wo kire no.
We are citizens, but we are being discriminated. This is where we work to feed ourselves. We plead with Otumfo and the President to come to our aid.
Na mo babi am so me fa ne amaye no mo fa ne maye
ande o baba ba gina ka jami se me kukuru mi tank no me fa ko inva uzu ama mi babi ka jami se fa ko gu ha.
Where do I go if we are evacuated without a place to go? I was not informed about this, so I'm not accepting the exercise.
Joseph Edumensa, head of Works Department at the Sokorimampo Municipal Assembly, admitted the sale of the land to a private developer, hence the need for their eviction.
The airport authority handed over that portion of the land to a developer, and he also continued by trying to obtain a building permit to develop that area. The information I gathered was that from the permits given to the developer to go and develop the place, it's been over 2 years or more when the permit was given to him to go and develop the place. So in that instance, I don't think it's short.
He, however, cautioned the residents against chaos.
For chaos erupting, I don't think it should go to that level, because they are aware that whatever they are is a temporary measures. They are all aware that is a temporary measure. So if the time is up for them to leave the place, I don't think it should resort to that.
For JoyNews, Nana Boachidankwa Kumasi.
Let's head to Parliament now, because for the first time in the history of the Fourth Republic, a person other than the Speaker or his deputies is presiding over the House. Sunyani East MP Kwesi Ameyachireme is presiding over the House. Clerk to Parliament Cyril Kwabena announced the unavoidable absence of both Speaker and his deputies.
Yes, as well, in accordance with Order 12.4. Whenever the Speaker, the first Deputy Speaker, and the second Deputy Speaker are unavoidably absent, the clerk shall chair the sitting for the election of a member to preside at that sitting of the House as the member presiding. In accordance with this order, I would invite nominations for a member to preside, for the election of a member to preside. Thank you.
I recommend the Honorable Kwesi Ameyachireme to preside as a member preside. Honorable Kwesi Ameyachireme is a member of Parliament for Sunyani East. He is a fourth-term member of Parliament, and he's also my immediate boss as a former majority chief whip. I so move.
Right, Honorable Mr. Clerk. Indeed, relying on Order 12.4, My colleague has proposed our senior colleague, Honorable Amaya Ocheme, on behalf of colleagues, to take the chair today. I second the motion and his proposal for Honorable Chairman to take the seat.
As many as are in favor, say aye. As many as are against, say no. The ayes have it. Honorable Amaya Chairman. Honorable members, praise.
Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana.
Let's stay a while in the House and speak to our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Kweku Asante, who's joining me with details. Kweku, so how did the House settle on Kwesi Amia-Treme?
Well, it was the majority side who nominated Kwesi Amia-Treme to go into the chair. Frank Anadombre, who is the majority chief whip, and once the clerk to Parliament announced that the Speaker of Parliament and his deputies are not available, nominated him to take over the chair. This was not opposed by the minority leadership, and Governor Kwame Agbodza, who is also the minority chief whip, endorsed that position, and ultimately the House unanimously decided that in the absence of the Speaker and his deputies for today, Kwesi Amia-Treme should take the chair, and just like you saw there, he presided over it. Of course, it does not mean that anytime there is the Speaker of Parliament or the deputies are not there, there will always be the Sunyani East MP who preside over the House.
Okay.
The House will have to decide every now and then when the Speaker of Parliament or his deputies are not available in terms of who must do that. The standing orders allow that to happen. But for the last 30 years, more than 30 years since the fourth Republican Parliament has been sitting, this has not done, has never been done. And so today, Kwesi Amia-Treme has made history by becoming the first member presiding as is provided by the standing orders of the House.
Kweku, so what really is the significance of this? You've mentioned that it is likely to happen again, and even if it does happen again, not necessarily Kwesi Treme that's going to preside over the House. Tell us the significance of this.
Well, like I said again, it's been 3 decades since the fourth Republican Parliament has been in operation. And anytime the Speaker of Parliament or his 2 deputies are not available, it handicaps Parliament. It means Parliament cannot sit. And the previous standing orders made provision for a member presiding, but had never been used. Parliament adopted the new standing orders in December last year, and it took effect this year. And so what this means is that Parliament will be able to do business even if the Speaker of Parliament or his 2 deputies are not available. It also means that the Speaker of Parliament can now have that kind of peace to be able to move about and do other official duties.
Right.
He can also assign his 2 deputies to be other places and do business so that the House can still proceed. I've been in the House for some time, and sometimes the Speaker of Parliament is not there or his deputies.
Okay.
And because of that, the House is unable to sit. But this new path will mean that regardless of the presence or absence or otherwise of the Speaker or his 2 deputies, the House can elect one of their own to preside over the House, and business will proceed as usual.
Right. Kweku Asante is our resident correspondent from Parliament. Thank you very much. You're still watching Joy News Today on the Joy News channel. Let's bring you more stories this afternoon as residents of Tamale and its surrounding areas are currently grappling with shortage of water supply, creating a challenging situation for the community. The scarcity of water has been a long-standing issue, particularly worsening during the dry season. However, the current situation indicates that even areas that previously had a reliable water supply are now experiencing shortages. Martina Bugri has more in this report.
For about a month now, the residents of Tamale have been forced to rely on tanker services who sell between 400 and 800 Ghana cedis For those who cannot afford tanker service and rely on tricycle operators, they are expected to pay 2 cedis 50 pesos for the popular Kufuor gallon. But the most hit are students. Imagine closing from school each day and having to abandon your studies in search of water. The most difficult part is you do not know which area pipes are flowing. This means you will keep roaming until you get to a neighborhood where there is water. This is the sad reality of many students in the Tamale metropolis following the water crisis that has hit the area. Water scarcity is a persistent problem in the northern region during the dry season, especially in areas without dams and boreholes. Students of the Kalpoini Senior High Schools are bearing the brunt of this crisis. These students spend over 3 hours each day in search of water. Sometimes they do not get to fetch, which means they would go days without bathing. Al-Hassan Fakia said it is more difficult when one is in her messes.
Water, not to drink, talk less of washing our clothes. All our uniforms are dirty. So sometimes we don't even bath when going to school. We don't even wash our uniforms. We just wear dirty to class. We just remove the pad and throw it. And just maybe water in a fishing can just manage with it. Wash your private part or so. And then we are done because we will not get water to bath. Even one time in a day, talk less of bathing 3 times. When we are in your menses.
Musa Memunatu said they have had to trek several kilometers in search of water.
You will go from here to Sangani to you same jerrycan. Like when you will be fetching water. Me since I came to this my house, I've never fetched like water from here to here. But this school, I go beyond that. Last time I went out of Kapo area. I went to SD hospital there to fetch 4 jerrycans of water.
How is that affecting your learning process?
Madam, sometimes when we go and fetch the water, we come back. By the time sometimes it will be almost a time to prep. And that you need to be in a hurry. If you are not in a hurry, they will tell you to go to prep. And sometimes if you don't have water, after break, first break, you need to go to the reservoir and go and fetch water in the well. Sometimes you might come back and there will be a teacher in the class. Some of the children will punish you, some today won't punish you. When you explain, they'll let you go and sit down. So sometimes it really affects our studies.
Abubakar Farida says most times they miss preps, which affects their studies.
If we always come out during classes, so it affects our learning. Even preps time, some of us we don't attend preps because of them, but we always come out in the evening time like this, and we delay going back to school. So sometimes we won't be able to attend preps time. So it affects us.
Now, do you know where you are going to fetch this water?
No.
So where now? Garba Lodge. From Kapoini Senior High School to Garba Lodge. That's far.
Away from the northern region, stakeholders fear the government's inability to continuously supply vaccines could spell doom for the country in dealing with outbreak of preventable diseases such as measles, yellow fever, polio, but to name a few. Eastern Regional Coordinator for Expanded Program on Immunization, Peter Chene, in an interview with JoyNews says over 36,000 children, for example, could not have access to revoked vaccine in 2023 compared to 2022.
The roundtable discussion was on the need to increase and sustain domestic vaccine funding for immunization service delivery in Ghana. Stakeholders made up of civil society organizations, Ghana Health Service, traditional and religious leaders, academia, non-governmental organizations, among others, questioned the country's commitment to securing the lives of children. Ghana has had access to vaccines through Gavi Alliance. However, government is said to be inconsistent in co-financing for the supply of vaccines. Government defaulted in payment in 2014, 2016 and 2018 as delay occasioned payment in 2023 as well. Eastern Regional Coordinator for expanded program on immunization. Peter Chune wants the needful done.
If we continue to battle with the vaccine supply challenges, we are likely to have vaccine preventable diseases being reported in the country, which actually are going to lead to some outbreaks of vaccine preventable disease, measles, yellow fever, and then polio, and the rest you can think of. So the situation is actually not the best as we speak now. Last year, 2023, the region battled with vaccine supply issues, especially Rota. When getting to the last quarter of the year, we battled with short supply of Rota. And I think the data I presented revealed that if you look at the number of children that were actually supposed to benefit from Rota vaccine, vis-a-vis the 2022 coverage, you can see that we had about 36,000 children who were left out. And we are admonishing that government should be able to help us address this situation by making vaccines available this year.
Chief Executive Officer of Social Serve Ghana and board member of Hope for Future Generation, Josephine Saki, asked government through the Finance Ministry to prioritize financing of vaccines. She extended the call to the private sector to come in and offer the needed help.
We realize that indeed there is a gap because especially in 2023 there were a lot of shortages, and so the targets that were supposed to be met by the regional health directorate, they were unable to meet them. So there are many children out there that did not get the vaccines that they were supposed to get, and this year slight and sporadic shortages have started, and so advocating for increased immunization finances is very key, and so we are calling on government through the Ministry of Finance to actually make financing of immunization a priority.
Meanwhile, head of academic program at Ensign Global College, Dr. Stephen Manote, says the institution will carry out research as part of a coalition being formed to push for immunization financing.
We had a natural role to be the voice of the voiceless. So we are going to work with them to help move this along. We see this to be a very big opportunity for us to work with any other group that is coming to help improve the health of the nation. And so, as the question of what our role will be, we are just here to help hold this strongly for our academic perspective. We are also interested in monitoring their activities and seeing what we can do in terms of research to even help improve what they do as a group and the outcomes and its impact on the nation.
The roundtable discussion forms part of Financing Immunization Advocacy Response Project, FAIR. With this situation in the Eastern region, stakeholders say nationwide picture is gloomy. Kwame Yankes reports for Joy News.
Now, news just coming in indicates that the Ghana Journalists Association says it has taken the decision to revoke the media blackout on Mavis Howard-Kumsin and has so directed all media houses to comply. The Ghana Journalists Association had blacklisted the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture following the beating of a journalist during the MPP primary voting. Let's read excerpts of the statement to you, which says the Ghana Journalists Association, in consultation with its media partners, has revoked the media blackout it imposed on the Member of Parliament for Ewutu Senya East, Mavis Howard-Kumsin, and urged all media houses to comply accordingly. It continues by saying that the imposition of blackout was meant to get justice for David Kobina, a morning show host of Cape FM in the Central Region, who was assaulted by thugs wearing branded T-shirts of the MP during the vetting of the MPP parliamentary aspirants in that region on the 4th of January this year. On Thursday, February 15th, Ms. Kumsin deemed her promise to engage the GJA to settle the impasse by meeting the national executive of the association at the Ghana International Press Center. Right, we have more on that particular development story in our subsequent bulletins. Away from that, a 46-year-old man who has lost his sight, mobility and memory to brain tumor is currently battling for his life. The once vibrant preacher was diagnosed with a brain tumor 5 years ago after the loss of his wife. Lack of finances to help him undergo surgery has led him to his case worsening and compelling his 19-year-old daughter to abandon her education to take care of him. The family say they need some 120,000 Ghana cedis to restore his health. JoyNews' James Haveji has more in the following report.
Pastor Ambrose Amua is just 46, but he looks older and hangs on life by a stitch. He used to be a public service worker, but later became a preacher of the gospel at the Crossover Evangelistic Ministry in his active days. Pastor Ambrose's woes began 5 years ago when he lost his wife. He suffered severe headaches until he was diagnosed a year later with brain tumor. The condition has since led to a loss of sight, partial stroke, and memory loss.
My mind is come to I remember some of the things that.
In our conversation, he struggles to recollect anything from the past. Only two things are printed on his failing memory: his late wife and his only daughter, Vanessa.
Master, it is well. I heard a voice.
You recollect her voice, the things she used to say.
I recollect the voice of my wife. Recollect.
Pastor Ambrose was nearly brought to tears when I asked him about his daughter. He said he had plans for her.
It is well. It is well. When I say it is well, it is something that I have developed for a long time ago, that it is well.
What were your wishes for her?
Abba, Professor. I wanted to promote her to professor level. Professor level. He will go. She will go. She will go to that level of my thinking.
Just like his failing health, his hope is fading fast by the day. His daughter, 19-year-old Vanessa, who completed senior high school 2 years ago, says she had no choice than to shelve her aspirations and take care of her father.
Finishing school, I wasn't told that he was sick because I was preparing for my final year exam. So when I got back, I realized he was sick and I had to stay home to take care of him since there was no one to do that. When mommy passed away, she was like, I'm the only one, so she was the one I always speak with, and she passed away. Well, I didn't lose hope because I knew that he was around. Then a year later, he also was diagnosed of a brain tumor. And he can't see, he can't even speak fluently with you, and always lonely in the house, and it became miserable for me. I'm sometimes tempted to question God because he's his servant, and why did he look to see him go through this, knowing he's the only one I have? I sometimes cry also, but it is well. It is well.
She says she had wanted to be an embryologist to help people have babies of their own.
I love children. I love to see people with... I never had a sibling, so I love So I would love to help people. I would love to create babies for people. Yes.
Vanessa's effort to help her dad doesn't seem enough because time is running out on him. They will need some 120,000 Ghana cedis to perform a brain surgery on Pastor Ambrose to restore his health. But the family of two who live in a rented house here at Old Ashoman do not have the means. They want the public to help.
It's just unbearable for me, but I'm still trusting God. God is able to do everything. What men think is impossible is what is possible to God. So I still trust God that He can do something, and Daddy will not die. Daddy will stay with me, see me become the professor He wants me to be. I am reaching out to everybody out there to help us, to help Daddy in this critical condition. Yeah.
Pastor Ambrose says he has just one wish.
I wish I should be made perfectly well. Perfectly well to the glory of God.
So you want to get back to ministry?
Exactly what my purpose is.
To do what?
To go and preach the gospel to the world.
You feel you are not done with your work?
Yes, please. I am not done at all.
He is currently on admission at the Rich Hospital because his condition has worsened in the last few days. As he waits for his wish to get back to his feet to preach the gospel once again comes true, his hope hangs on your benevolence as every minute counts in saving him. James Savaji, Joy News.
After the break, Pius Kojo Baka will be here with the latest in business. See you in a moment.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the business segment on Joy News Today with me, Pius Kojo Baka. The city's sharp depreciation earlier this month has been cited as a major reason for the expected hikes in fuel prices. Well, this is what Joy Business has picked up from persons in the regulator industry. Now, the National Petroleum Authority has been speaking to us. There is more in this report.
The National Petroleum Authority is forecasting about 5% increase for petrol and 7% for diesel per litre. It's also attributing the adjustment to increases in price of finished petroleum products on the international markets, while the oil marketing companies have also moved to increase their margins. If the operators go with this margin, then that will be one of the highest increased fuel prices in recent times. For some looking at the challenges that most of the oil marketing companies are going through, it might be difficult to absorb this increase. This should mean that they may pass on all the cost to consumers. Others are also worried about the impact of this increase on the cost of living, especially at the time that we have seen inflation rate going up for the month of January.
As part of government's industrial transformation agenda, the Ministry of Trade and Industry has commissioned 2 business resource centers at Aggrieved and Dodowa in the Eastern and Greater Accra regions, respectively, to serve as financial and investment facilitation hubs for micro, small and medium-scale enterprises. These 2 business resource centers are out of the 19 being established across the country. Here's more in the report I filed. The establishment of the business resource centers forms part of the realignment of the Rural Enterprises Program to fit into the National Industrial Transformation Agenda. To this end, the Ministry of Trade and Industry has commissioned the Aggrieved and Dodowa Business Resource Centers in the Eastern and Greater Accra regions, respectively, to provide institutional support to assist small and medium-scale enterprises grow and improve their competitiveness. Speaking to journalists after commissioning the 2 facilities, Minister of Trade and Industry Katie Hammond said the business centers will become a one-stop enterprise support center to provide a broad range of business development services to potential and existing entrepreneurs and enterprises.
The reason for this is that we're asking prospective industrialists, entrepreneurs, people with capital, the private sector, to venture into setting up of companies. But we thought that in the process they will require some assistance, some advice. It isn't every single one of them who might be a Ghanaian. There would have been people who would have come from outside your locality and who, for that matter, would want to have some basic idea what this whole place is all about.
On her part, Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Enterprises Agency, tells Joy Business, 67 business resource centers will be commissioned by the end of the year.
Business resource centers are strategic positioned across the nation. There are 67 that will come out in total at the end of this year. 37 are up and running, 19 are what we are commissioning now, and the following 11 hopefully before the end of the year. But really what we are expecting from it is for the youth and MSMEs to be able to go into answer questions if they have any needs, if the youth have challenges, they want to start up businesses. If we have programs that government is implementing and you come here, you should be able to have answers to be able to do it. So really, in total, this is a one-stop shop for business development that would build the businesses.
Manager of the Dodowa Business Resource Center, Randolph Akwako, said the facility will be used judiciously to achieve its intended purpose.
We are here to provide the tools, skills, knowledge, and everything that businesses need to grow and sustain their business activities. And we are expecting that we are going to really impact positively into businesses in the Shire Osudoku district and other districts that surround this district.
Meanwhile, the facilities were funded by the International Fund for Agricultural Development and the African Development Bank at a cost of 3.4 million cedis. For Joy Business, Pius Kujobaka. And that's it for business. Dara will be at 1 p.m. with the marketplace.
Let's do sports now on JoyNews Today with me, Muftau Nabila. President of Ghana Athletics, Bao Fuseni, has raised concerns about Ghana's readiness to host the African Games 2023. According to him, it is important that facilities and new equipment acquired by government for the Games are tested before the event starts on March 8. The athletics governing body in the country wanted to organize what they describe as National Invitational Student Athletics Championship on February 24. But there are concerns that that event would have to be postponed until April, which will be after the event. He says that it is important that the facilities are tested.
I just wanted to emphasize on the importance of the school sport that we're going to do on 24th of this month, 24th, 28th of this month, is so crucial to the successful organization of the African Games, most especially in athletics. Because we are going to use this program, the school's event on 24th, 28th, to test run the facility, including the Grand Prix Elite electronic timing system that the government bought for the athletics. We have no option, and there's no any other time that we can do this testing but on 24th to 28th of this month. If we postpone it or shift it, it will have serious adverse effects on the games, because that means that we will not have time to test run the facility, we will not have the time to test run the electronic timer, and we will also use these games to satisfy our technical officiating official who will officiate at the games. So it's very imperative, it's extremely important that this competition comes off. The LOC cannot import hundreds of technical officials from other African countries to come officiate. It is not possible. It is also not possible for them to buy a new equipment. We've not test run the equipment, and we are going to such a big competition with such equipment untested.
Let's do football now. And Chairman of the Black Queens Management Committee, Gifty Owari Mensah, says that the Ministry of Youth and Sports has promised to settle the bonuses due the players before their game against Zambia in the Olympic qualifier. She spoke to my colleague, Lawrence Bedu.
GFA is an association, and this association sells brands, and we have products that we sell. Our foremost product is Black Stars across the world, not just in Ghana. the male teams had been the one that dominates the love and affection from the countries. So I find it quite worrying when we try to make it look like vis-a-vis the women's team, and then we should see it as something that connects and all that. But I think the challenge really is, are the women getting the due that they deserve? Which I feel for a while as a country, we had not been doing so well. But then when you check, for some time now, they've been getting really their due. The difference is that, yes, we are owing black queens, we are owing we are owing princess, and we spoken to them, myself, the president of GFA, Mr. Ketukwiku, and then the minister in the ministry had spoken. And they had made promises to us that we are going to get these monies for these girls before we go into our next match.
That's your sports for now. We do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. We appreciate your time.